Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to finals weekend of the Fly. We are here live at Lilleshall National Sports Centre for our first semi-final matchup of the day. This is the first men's semi-final between Swift and Forge after the playing games this morning, where Forge came through 14-13 against Hustle in their playing game to get into this semi-final. Meanwhile, Swift went down at 13-20 to rise in their play-in, and now these two teams meet to try and secure themselves the first place in the Fly final. So here we have our teams for the day. First up, Team Swift, led by head coach Ryan Garnsworthy and captain Ryan Sweetman. And up against Team Forge, head coach Mike Bartlett being led by captain Tom Bracegirdle. And the teams are just having their pre-match routines at the moment, going through coin toss, getting themselves set as they all step onto the pitch for our first semi-final. And as the teams get ready, I'll just introduce you to my co-commentator today, Mike Armstrong. Mike, good to have you here with us.
Fantastic to be here, Sean. It's been a very different day to the last weekend we were here at Lilleshall. The sun has changed for some clouds and some rain today, but the lacrosse has been just as exciting this morning.
Yeah, we've already had two really competitive, really good games this morning. As I say, Forge went up with the first game, and as obviously you're coming here as co-coms today, but you were actually assistant coach to Forge last week, and now you've had the benefit of having a little inside knowledge. You're now here with us to do comms today.
Absolutely. I know the Forge managed to sneak a little training session in last Sunday. It seems like it paid off for them in the first game, but this game was a one-goal game last time, so we'll see what actually transpires as they're just about to go down for the first face-off.
Yeah, we've got Thomas Rosser going down for Swift, going up against number 87, Dan Madeley for Forge. Again, Mike, Madeley out of Uni of Nottingham.
Absolutely, someone I know very well, and he's battling hard straight away. But first possession seems like it's gone to the Swift.
Yeah, good win by Russian. He's looking to go individual at the moment. He's gone all the way.
Yeah, it's a great little start from Swift. I think they really wanted to put certain things right from their performance this morning, just chatting to the coaches over lunch. That was a decent shot to take, stick to the middle and the inside, but we see the Forge just having their first attack of the game now.
Yeah, I think we saw in the earlier games today, the early quarters were very frenetic. There were lots of goals sort of early on before teams sort of got into their rhythm, got into their shape a bit better, and then the games became a bit more tactical.
Yeah, as we just see that first shot in from the Forge, yeah, I think the first game this morning was a 9 at half time. So there we go, another big save from Tim Blower, putting his body on the line there. Yeah,
great first save there for Tim Blower. He was unavailable for the July weekend, but has stepped in to goal for Forge in the August weekend. Yeah, beaten there by Danny Hilditch for the first goal of the game, Swift.
It was a great individual effort, great outlet, straight to Paige Laycock.
But now we're tied again.
I mean, that's what the Fly's all about, isn't it? One end, when then within 5 seconds, the ball's down the other end and it's in the back of the other net.
Yeah, there we see Hilditch's goal to get the game going, but then, as I say, straight down the other end, and Hilditch again.
Yeah, no, I spoke to Dan Hilditch as well at the half-time. He was really happy, actually, with his own personal performance in the first game. I think he said he took 8 shots, 6 goals, and he's making a great start on that. As we see a little bit of the ground ball action going on. Great pick up there by Ollie Rogerson, putting his team onto transition.
Great work. Edwards comes forward with the feed, and there we go. Another goal for Swift. Albert Whitehead, I think they're totting up with the goal in the midfield. He was very influential in the last game of opening weekend against Rise. He scored the 2 goals that won them the game at the end of things.
This game's so open right now. I think both teams are trying to feel each other out a little bit, work out kind of what's going on. As there's lots of shots going on. The goalkeepers are doing a great job to keep their teams in it, keep the score as it is. But I think the coaches will probably be asking a little bit more from the defence. Yeah,
I think Forge were just a little bit lucky there. They looked a little bit out of shape after the save, and it was a 2-on-2 situation for Swift, but the pass just went a bit wide. But yeah, I think Coach Bartlett will definitely be trying to get his Forge team to calm down, a bit of composure.
Absolutely. I know something that they've been talking about is the subbing game. They felt that they did not quite get that right in the first weekend, and it's sort of real focus for them this week. However, you know, that's got to actually transpire in action itself onto the pitch. So, you know, as we can see now, for example, we've got Jake Parker, who last time was subbing out. He's now playing some defence.
Good work again, Tim Blower, staying strong, making a save from Sweetman. Again, Sweetman was the top point scorer of opening weekend, put himself up with 13 goals and 4 assists, I think it was, for his opening weekend.
Yeah, and I'm sure the Forge will be aware of the threats of Sweetman. You know, as you say, top points scored. They've got their own. I think they had a lot more spread goals throughout the team, so they'll have some confidence in that. But I'm sure they'll have some plans, particularly for Ryan Sweetman. He's a really strong player. The 60 suits him really well, and they'll definitely making sure that they're trying to match him up nicely.
And there we have it, just outlining Sweetman's qualities, and there we go, just the sort of really slow build-up, just allowing him that shot from the outside, and he managed to stick it very well.
Yeah, you know, I just saw something there from the Swift in their transition play. That actually, Hilditch picked up Reddy deep in the opposition half. So I think there's an element of trying to put a little bit of pressure on, trying to slow down the shot clock so they can actually give themselves a little bit more time to play defence.
Great work, Dan Madeley there. To pull one back for the Forge. Hilditch back up Edwards, looking to drive on his man, spins back inside, pulls the shot, saved by Blower.
Yeah.
Now here we go, Forge looking for a quick transition. Have they got options?
They absolutely have. I think this is the second opportunity they've had like that on transition. They've made both count. Yeah. I'm sure the coaches will be happy on that.
Captain Tom Bracegirdle there making his mark on the game with an opening goal.
I think that's a little bit of the difference we're seeing in these two teams in the early stages, Sean, is Swift seem to be a little bit more settled and creating on settled play. The opportunities for Forge have come through transition. So, again, a little bit of half transition. Great finish, Dan Watson. You know, this game really suits him as well for those nice tight inside finishes and getting themselves into a great position to score.
It's really great work here from Forge. Like I say, found themselves 4-1 down and pulled it back to 4-4. And I think rightly so, we've got a timeout called there by Swift to try and just calm things down after, you know, conceding 3 in a row.
Yeah, and I think something that the coaches will have learned about the timeouts, they're only 30 seconds long in this format of the game. So, you know, 30 seconds, getting the teams in, having a quick word, making some small adjustments, and then sending them straight back out. You can hear the referees blowing that whistle all ready to get the game restarted. It's definitely seen teams not kind of burn the time on the timeouts anymore. They're really quick and short to the point.
Yeah, I think they've learned that, you know, sort of it's, like I say, almost just used as a sort of reset and refocus moment rather than anything too detailed. Really competitive ground ball fight there.
Yeah, the game's so open right now. And you know, we've seen a lot of these in the first quarter. We've still got 2 minutes to play. Great defence. I think that's Tom Roach on Sweetman. Really kind of doing his job.
Yeah, Ming Trin and James Reddy, they're both working behind, doing a real good job keeping them out. And here we go again, Forge looking for quick transition. Jake Parker all the way to goal, but no, Hurry stands up well. That's a really big save, that is. Like I say, all of the momentum was with Forge, and that's something that could maybe just, give Swift that lift, get them to just calm a bit.
I think, the goalkeeper's always played an important role in the game of lacrosse, but actually where the possessions are fairly evenly shared, a save and a stop one way can be a 2-goal swing, and the goalkeepers really come into their own of almost like scoring a goal for their own team. They've really valued that highly, and we've seen that certainly in the games this morning and in this one already.
Loose pass from Andrew Baxter on Team Swift, and Forge will come forward through James Reddy. Pass up top, Brace Girdle, up against Baxter. Pops off the feed, great finish.
That was a nice little feed. I think what we've seen here is that was the first proper settled attack for the Forge, and they're not necessarily trying to push everything on transition.
Post from Baxter there, back to Blowrunners again. Forge looking for quick transition. It's nice early defence from Mills, just slowing up the Forge move.
Nice finish. So we've got a foul in there somewhere before the goal. So it looks like the Forge will get an opportunity to go and play some extra man.
Yeah, good finish from Tom Roach, and double successful, and they get the ball on the man up. Just tried to force that, I think, a little bit there, which, not really
there's
allowed Swift to come away.
There's been some interesting conversations about what to do, for example, with a minute penalty, because if you're going to get the 30-second shot clock on a minute penalty, if you can take an early shot, you're guaranteed to get the ball back, so you might get a second bite of the cherry. But is that at the cost of, maybe a weaker shot? Maybe they could be thinking and taking a little bit more time and actually just using that full 30 in that first part of the extra man. So the ref's just trying to sort something out here, trying to work out quite what they've called.
Yeah, it seems like, I think Forge might have lost their advantage. And there's
Dan Watson's sat on the penalty bench.
Dan Watson's gone to the bench, and they're going to be all square for the last. We've got 4.1 seconds on the clock. So I think this is going to be a quick drive and shot here from Hilditch. Just into the crowd of players, and that is the quarter time, as we go in with Swift 4, Forge 6. So,
wow, what a first quarter there, Sean, as well. I think the Swift really started strongly. The Forge worked themselves back into that, getting that 2-goal advantage. I think both sets of coaches will be relatively happy with what they saw. I think, we've seen a lot of this in the first quarter, as you said, high scoring, teams trying to feel each other out, trying to work out, strengths, weaknesses, what they can do to impact the game. Really interesting. I actually thought the Swift going into this one might have had a little bit more of an advantage, but the Forge really have turned up and come to play this weekend. I think after what was possibly a little bit of a disappointment for them 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was a really strong effort from there, going sort of 4-1 down early to Swift, and it looked sort of like it might have been fairly similar, but they came straight back at it, scored a couple of goals on quick transition, and then towards the end of the quarter, sort of looking like the better team. I think it's interesting to think about, whether, obviously we've had our play-ins this morning, and while Swift won all 3 of their games on opening weekend, they've come into the first one here and have lost their first game. And it's that sort of, all about momentum, all about, who's feeling good. And Forge have won this morning and Swift have lost. And it's that little bit of lift that they possibly just need to turn the game that they lost on opening weekend into a win this time.
Yeah, I mean, I sat in on the Swift meeting this morning, and the big thing they actually talked about was their first quarter performances. So yes, you're right, they went 3-0 in the first weekend, but actually they lost every first quarter. So I'm sure they'll know that they're in a position where actually they'll probably feel quite good about it. They've scored 4 goals. I think in the first weekend they'd only ever scored 1 in the first quarter, but they can turn that on for the remaining quarters and actually go and get themselves a win. So this game is still all to play for. We'll see the momentum of this second quarter into half-time and what the coaches have got cooked up for us.
So we're going to begin this second quarter with both teams with a man still serving a penalty. Forge on the ball, Ming Trin. Goes all the way inside and goes goal.
And that's that open set, giving them space to the middle. And that's what Ming Trin's absolutely done. He's taken that space and he's made that all himself. Great little slide. So I think on that last D set, I think we were hearing the team talk about trying to get their distances. I know that's a big thing with the goalies are trying to get right this weekend, is the distances to take those shots. And really kind of getting those early slides or trying to be really predictive of where we can slide from, so that it makes everything else read and react off it, and try and make defence really a bit easier. It's really difficult to play defence in this format.
Forge looking to set the pick there. Watson coming round, finds the feed off Paige Laycock. You could have a penalty there.
I mean, that was absolutely classic Ben Paige Laycock. Inside movement, finding a little bit of space. You could paint that picture of him doing that, and he does it time and time again. He's really strong off ball, and I think he'll be wanting that one back in his stick again to probably finish the ball next time.
Movement, open feed across. Shot goes over from Parker.
So we've got Forge going full press here, trying to really turn the ball over, especially when they're on the extra man. See if they can actually really try and turn that ball over. I think the shot clock does a lot of the help, actually, trying to turn that ball over. They've all got to do is play defence for 30 seconds. They'll get the ball back.
Yeah, that's one thing new for this Sixers game. We've got a 30-second shot clock from the moment the team takes possession. As you can see, we're now entering 5. There's 4 on the shot clock.
What a pick-up and what a ground. Off he goes to the races, Tom Hallam. He's done great there. But that was it. That was it in case in point. The Forge really put the pressure on because they knew they had the extra man. And they almost capitalised on it and then make it like a big 2-goal swing.
So a new 30 seconds now for Forge. For Swift, sorry. Mills taking it behind. It's come up, but no, well down by Blow. He read it well.
It's a good save. I mean, it's a decent dodge, to be fair. He went from a good spot on the field. But we've seen yet again Forge punishing on transition. I think if there's one thing that the Swift need to get right is stopping that transition. I think they're getting through the lines really quickly. Maybe they need to just hit the hole and get in a little bit more.
Yeah, it's something that teams really have to think about. Even when you're on attack now, as we see through Hilditch, you've almost got to be thinking, as soon as you see your player winding up for the shot, it's almost that thought of, we're about to be on defence now. Like, you can't even be thinking about the shot. You're almost, if you're not the shooter, you're back on defence.
Absolutely, and it also comes into the subbing game of who's hitting the box and when, where you may be looking to engage players, because like we've seen, the distances defensively are important to get right. So we're seeing here on the man down, they're working hard to try and actually get the distances right for the zone. But a great bit of individual skill from Hilditch.
Yeah, lovely dodge from Hilditch coming inside, cutting the lead. But Ming Trin looking to go back down the other end. Tipped over by Hurry. We're going to put pressure on now, try and win the ball back. It's Allsop trying to fight. But it's come up to Brace Girdle.
Great swarming on the ground ball, and they've got numbers here, 3v1.
Sweetman to Hilditch, spin, dodging, faking, Great work, Tim Blower. That's really good stuff to put the pressure on, and Hilditch probably just took a little bit too long in the end.
I think he outfaked himself there, Sean, yeah. I mean, they've done a good job there, to be fair, on the defensive side, trying to delay it as long as possible. But as I said, that was a 3v1 opportunity. I think they'll be wanting that one back as well. we're now all even.
Forge had another. Looking really good so far, you know, just like you say, turning it on every time in attack, sort of not having too much difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, this game's got such fine margins. I think it's a 4-goal swing right now. That could be, there's one back, you know, quick turnover and that'll be another one, and before you know it, you know, this can be a 1-goal game, which is why we're seeing so many short-sided games. There's not only defensive pressure, the scoreboard pressure, but there's also that pressure of the shot clock.
Nice response again, Forge. Yeah, as I say, it was Ollie Rogerson pulled one back for Swift, but Forge just hitting straight back again. Elliot Leonard.
Yeah, this game's gone back open again.
There.
I think we saw at the end of the first quarter that there was a lot more set-up play, but the last couple of goals have just been pure transition. I think the team that really takes control of this game now, trying to use their possessions, is really going to make an impact going into the second half. So there's your classic shot to turnover. You know, that could be a swing there. They'll be looking for all the little margins out there. Great little individual. That's another transition opportunity. You know, I think definitely seeing the Swift trying to play defence higher up the field, and I think it's really leaving them open. I think the coaches wanted that, but I think they're going to have to react to the way that they're actually getting beaten the lines again.
This is a real breathless period now.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
relentless.
Sweetman was one-on-one there with Lace. Like, they've got to be thinking about the distances they're engaging and actually adapt to it. I think that's the biggest thing I'm seeing right on there on the field right now.
So Forge maintained their 3-goal lead, just 1 minute 30 on the clock before half-time. Hilditch looking to go to goal. Bounce shot, finds its way past Blower, pulls another back.
Dan Hilditch has that in his locker, absolutely, every time. He's so dynamic, he can roll, he can split you. You know, he's got a great shot, one-on-one, outside. He's got all that stuff in his locker. But I think, you know, what we saw there with the minute to play was the Forge really sit back off, and I think I'd like to see the Swift do a little bit more of that right now. Maybe where they're getting beat through the lines in transition is actually contain them a little bit more, get numbers behind the ball and have a strong defensive set, because they've got guys out there who can play D. They've got Andy Baxter in this weekend. They've got someone like Ollie Rogerson, Sam Dyson. These guys can really set a precedent for the defensive sets.
Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's just about making it a little bit more difficult for Forge. You know, they've not really had to work too much. They've not really got them to run that shot clock down at all.
Absolutely. I think that is the thing. We've seen transition goals, we've seen one-on-one opportunities or out of an open set. Not seeing them work too hard.
And that's exactly what Coach Garnsworthy would have wanted. First play back from the timeout.
Yeah, we saw it that possession, and they were short on the shot clock. It forced a turnover. We're into the last minute here.
Good to George Ivers up top, looking to spin his man against Parker. Shots wide.
Yeah, they're taking out. They were short on the shot clock. Forge, if they're quick here, might get another opportunity to attack. They're going to at least have a full 30, but there's only 20 on the clock. What can they do? Let's have a look.
Coach Laycock again. Going to look to go direct through the middle.
Great 1v1.
Great check.
Yeah, it was a great 1v1D. I mean, I think that's the quarter, really.
We've lost the ball. We've got...
Yeah, there we go. What a first half, Sean.
Yeah, I think that was pretty breathless. That was, like you say, sort of started off slowly, and then the tempo just raised and raised throughout, and we, you know, individual efforts, transition goals. I think we've had a bit of everything there, and as you say...
Yeah, go for it, go for it.
Welcome back for the second half of our first men's semi-final between Swift and Forge. Forge holding an 11-9 lead from the first half after playing games early this morning where Forge defeated Hustle 14-13 and the Swift went down 13-20 to Team Rise, and both teams find themselves locked in this men's semi-final. And welcome back to Mike Armstrong.
Cheers, Sean. I think we've seen an early penalty. I think it was a technical foul early doors. I think it was just a push. But again, we're going to see the Forge go extra man early in the second half. I think the referees are just still trying to sort out exactly what's going on. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a technical in there, I think, for a push. Did you see that, Sean? I think I missed that.
Yeah, I think doesn't seem like they can't really decide whether it was whether it was a loose ball or a no. Yeah, we finally.
Yeah, the green has come out. It's a technical foul, so it's only going to be a short penalty here for the Forge, trying to run something. Great handle there.
Laycock looking for feed up tight, can't find anything. Just working the opportunity.
Yeah, just on that extra man, I'd like to see the low guys a little bit closer in on the posts, just trying to occupy those low defenders. I think that would free the guys up a little bit, up top a little bit more. But as you see, this is so quick, this sixes Lacrosse. Swift are down there already attacking.
Yeah, I think Paige Laycock was maybe looking for that feed down and there were just no options. They had to just keep working it round and the angle for the shot wasn't really on. Sweetman with the shot there for Swift, saved by Tim Blower.
And back we go on transition yet again.
Brace Girdle to move forward. Going all the way. Yes, great finish.
Yeah, no, that was nice. Really nice. Again, a little bit on transition, so I'm not quite sure if we've seen Swift make any changes to where they engage for this second half, but we'll start to see that unfold a little bit more. But again, you know, Tim Blower's made 2 big saves already in this third quarter.
Sweetman's having a real battle with him up there, and Blower's winning at the moment. That's really nice work there. Nathan Edwards just stepping inside and instead picking up the goal for the Swift that was really needed at the start of the second.
Yeah, and what he did fantastic there is he got his stick to the middle. He's not a naturally left-handed player, but he got his stick inside, increased his angle, and made it that little bit harder for Blower. Oh, posts.
Parker recovers, looks for a feed to top. Tom Roach.
And of course that post resets the shot clock as well, so they'll have had a little bit more time to re-attack there. But again, more transition Lacrosse.
George Ivers up against Paige Laycock. Does well just to hold him off there. That's really important for team, you know, keep on slowing down the attacking team.
And we spoke about that opportunity with Hilditch, kind of getting one-on-one, getting to the middle of the field, and that was him, absolutely his repertoire. Forge really did a decent job, though, to be fair, getting in. They had numbers back. I think they just need to get themselves sliding a little bit more early. Yeah,
unfortunately, Forge are going to go a man down here. I think Paige Laycock, from that defence, sort of trying to hold up Swift, I think he's been pinged, and they're going to be a man down.
Don't say he's been pinged, Sean. We'll all start panicking.
Yeah, no, definitely not having any pingdemics here this weekend. So here's Swift, man up, 1 goal down, looking to tie things up. Danny Hilditch, trying to work the angle. They've worked it free to Sweetman. Again, just going wide there. You know, that was a real key moment there for Swift. And I think you just felt them trying to work the ball, but couldn't really get the angles.
I think they've definitely come out the stronger out of the half-time break a little bit here. They're really putting it on. They're taking quite a number of good shots. And you can see here now, they recognise they've got the extra man. They're doubling up on the ball, trying to put pressure and trying to get the ball back in their sticks.
Lovely individual work, Ming Trin.
Yeah,
feed off to Leonard and composure.
Absolutely, that was unselfish Lacrosse. That's what we like to see. You know, we can see now, again, Hilditch, what can he do on one-on-one? He's more like 4-on-1 there, to be fair.
I think we've also got a penalty there against Leonard called. So Swift will have a pen come in. Baxter pulls one back, and here we go. Forge will now go a man down.
I'm sure there was a share of eye staring between Baxter and Blower there. Two guys who know each other really well, and I'm sure Blower will probably be slightly disappointed that he didn't make that stop. But to be fair, it was a nice finish. Yeah,
we had some really great moments in the playing game earlier where Andrew was shooting on Will in goal for Team Rise, and I think there was, definitely some moments there. Really important save there, Tim Blower on. I think that's Will Alsop with the shot that it was in front, but it's just hit it square at the keeper.
Yeah, he had a lot more time than he thought, but it's really difficult taking the ball right inside on the crease. And they'll get the over and back there.
That's great pressure from Swift. They've really turned it on at the start of the third.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm sure they've spoken about that. They know that they've got the extra man. They've let I think it was Parker catch the ball in his attacking half and then put the pressure on to try and get that turnover.
Parker up against Hilditch there, just dislodges, but they're able to retain. Reset on clock, and Hilditch got the ball, manages to get it off before going out, and it's Ivers. Pings off the crossbar. And now here we go, quick transition for the Forge. They're level, 5 players all.
Whilst the referees just sort out this penalty shot, we saw a lot of the transition lacrosse for the Forge in the first half. I think what they're not potentially doing is getting themselves into settled play right now. They recognise they're going to create opportunities unsettled. But I think sometimes, rather than rushing that transition, just go play settled lacrosse. Work the matchups, find the space, and generate yourself a better shot.
Yeah, they've definitely got players who can do that. We saw an opening weekend that, they've got the kind of players that can work that ball really well, and they can, create the opportunities. They've got clever players that can take those chances, and I think that's going to be really sort of important now for the last sort of 10 minutes of this game if they're going to hold on to their lead.
Yeah, so Forge coming out, Swift man down. We'll see what they're going to run here. They kind of got again, 3 across the top, 2 low. I'd like to see the low guys a little bit pinched close to the pipes, just occupying the lower defenders a little bit more. It might help the guys up top a little bit. But they're running triangle, they're running that rotation.
And it's freed Brace Girdle, and he's able to finish down low.
Yeah, there's that feed through their zone. And they're doubling up here.
Yeah, just running themselves behind.
Oh, they'll come out of the box.
Yeah,
great finish.
Great find.
They were trying to do the right thing there. They were trying to double up on the ball, trying to force a turnover, but they need to keep an eye on the penalty being released because Hilditch came straight out of the box, free, and, they'll take those all day.
Hilditch trying to do some defence now with his partner Rosser. I think they've had a penalty called against them. Wind up from Brace Girdle. Turned away by Hurry, and the penalty now comes.
Well, we're going for the yellow card, so we're going to get a minute penalty
against Thomas Rosser there.
So I think if we're watching at home, we're really interested to see what the Forge do. Do they try and take a shot early doors and try and get that ball back for a second opportunity in the minute penalty, or do they work a better opportunity for that full 30-second shot clock?
Similar positioning to their last man-up attempt. Working it again, here we go.
Yeah, rotating nicely.
They got that man looking free on the crease again.
The rotation's working for them, Sean. I just think they need to be a little bit quicker with the ball movement, and they're going to give themselves a bit more of an opportunity. But again, I keep saying that I would like to see in that first stage, maybe pinching the pipes a little bit on the lower guys, certainly off ball side, so that they can actually really tie a defender down and actually make that rotation more effective.
So we have 52 seconds left in the third quarter of our first men's semi-final here at the Fly Finals weekend. Forge lead by 13 goals to 12, looking to book that first spot in tomorrow's final.
I can tell you now, Sean, we're in for an absolutely cracker of a fourth quarter. Both teams want to be in that final, and I think they're really going to leave everything out there, especially in this last game they've got for the day. They're going to leave it all out there in the fourth quarter.
Hilditch ties things up. There we go. The brace girdle straight back down the other end. There we go.
Unbelievable.
6 lacrosse for you.
So end to end. I mean, we've seen a lot of the same names starting to pop up on the score sheets now. So I think, you know, this is all going to inform the teams about what they need to do tomorrow. But right now they'll be focusing on the next 8 minutes of lacrosse, trying to, as you say, book that place in the final.
Forge 10 seconds on the game clock. We'll have a chance for one last attempt. Madeley looks feed into Hallam, saved down by Hurry.
Yeah, I think that's the quarter, that'll do us. But, you know, that was a really important save there by Elliot Hurry, because he's actually now just made, you know, the same before about the save being as important as a goal. You know, he's made this a 1-goal game rather than a 2-goal game going into the last 8. But there's some great lacrosse on both sides of the field today that we've seen, not just in this game, but in the early games. And, you know, this last 8 minutes is going to be a thriller. These guys, before the World Championships in Israel, these guys were, you know, sparring partners. They were going against each other week in, week out, trying to help each other get better. So these guys know each other really, really well.
Yeah, it's Wales v England, Swift v Forge. We go to the line for the start of the fourth quarter here.
Comes up forward, Sean. That was a big play. You know,
win by brace girdle. You felt everybody there on that play, and here's brace girdle going for the individual, finds the back of the net. That is exactly what we're talking about. Those big game players stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, getting the first possession in the last quarter is crucial. Getting the goal off it as well. He's giving his team a 2-goal advantage. You know, as this game goes possession for possession, that could be really crucial for them, that first possession.
Yeah, Brace could have felt that. He's just hobbled off, but he's really just done his work there. That was exactly what his team needed off him.
Yeah, he's getting pats on the back from his teammates there. They appreciate that work ethic that he's put in there.
It's the interception on the Swift pass. Forge looking for that quick transition again. Great hands. James Reddy makes the pick.
Oh, I mean, that was a great ground ball. I think he just needed to finish. You know, he wanted to finish that off himself. But now we're starting to see, you know, the Forge are dropping in a little bit deeper, giving Swift that opportunity to have that free clear of the ball. But they want to play defence. They're going to make themselves tough to beat with the shot clock in their advantage, the scoreboard in their advantage as well.
Big save blower, back out to Sweetman. Goes for the dive. It's not going to count. Crease call going to go against Sweetman here.
Yeah, if you're going to go through the crease, you want to make it count. I think he was very unlucky there, to be fair. Blower looks like he's possibly caught a little bit of a boot as Sweetman was travelling through the crease. I'll be honest with you, I would not like to get hit by Ryan Sweetman diving in mid-air either.
No, that's like, you know, that's an absolute blockade coming towards you. But yeah, Swift are going to retain ball. There's been a push call before that. So they will keep ball and maybe Sweetman can have another go.
And these are the fine margins we talk about, Sean. You know, little turnovers or little fouls. All these little things make a big difference. You know, turnover, you know, or was it tipped? Oh, it's tipped. So, you know, little things go a long way in this little game. Smaller pitches, it all counts for absolutely everything.
Sweetman denied once more by Blower. That's been a common theme throughout today.
And you can see where Swift are engaging. They're engaging much higher up the field compared to where Forge are. It's just a fantastic...
Terrific work there from Paige Laycock. He was getting pulled and pushed from all over the place and probably drawn more than one penalty there, I think, going forward.
You know, even in those situations, you can win a foul, and that's just as sometimes as important as, you know, picking up a ground ball or putting the ball in the back of the net, because he's giving his team a great opportunity to go 3 goals up here and really put themselves into the driving seat for this last, 5 minutes, 6 minutes?
It's Reddy again on ball, off to Parker. 2 up top looking to the shoots, fake, feed to crease, feed inside.
What a save. What a save. You know, that was off stick, high. Hurry really had to fight himself across the line. He's pumped after that save. He's really encouraging his team forward. What a way to do it.
Sweetman still working, still pushing, still trying to push his team forward here, but it's just not going for Swift at the moment. They've just, come out from that quarter break and they've just not got things quite right.
Sweetman's done a lot for his team over today and the previous weekend. I'd be looking, where else, if Ryan's not firing right now, who else can step up? Who else is going to do it? Elliot Hurry's absolutely doing that for his team right now with saves like that on the previous one.
Edwards coming forward with the ball, looking for an option. It's not there. Ford managed to slow it down again.
I think Swift will like this, playing settle across, but it also equally, it'll go into the hands of Ford. They want to play 5v5 in front of the goal.
5 on the shot clock.
So Ward called turnover. Here's Parker. Again, Swift engaging much higher up the field than we've seen Forge.
Lake up there, retaining the ball.
Yeah, we've got a
slightly
little bit
different conditions, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that slick on the surface. We had a little bit of rain before we jumped on air this afternoon, and you can possibly see that playing out a little bit in terms of footwear right now.
It's good to see. Generally it's been very dry for this game, so the players, have actually had a little bit of respite from the early games where they, a bit of sideways rain, the conditions were a little bit tricky, but yeah, we're looking a little bit fairer for this afternoon's semi-finals.
Yeah, it's one of those, Sean. You can tell the field's a quality field because it's held up under all the conditions and all these guys playing on it, training on it. Be interesting to see what that comes like tomorrow in terms of final time, but great defensive set there by the Forge, burning that shot clock, making it difficult for the Swift.
It's the perfect situation there for Forge, isn't it? Just doubly so. There we go.
And that's one of those, 2-goal swings we talk about. A great defensive stop, going down the other end in transition and putting the ball in the back of the net. I think as this game gets shorter on time and the scoreboard pressure, we might see Swift trying to increase the amount of pressure they've got, all or nothing to lose. But, the threat of transition that the Forge bring, I think they're going to have to really have a rethink about the number of possessions that they can gain here.
Once again, Blow with the save. Mills tried to feed to Ivers, but can't collect. Sweetman through the legs.
Yeah, that was a nice try. And, something needs to spark for the Swift right now. They just don't seem to be clicking like they have previously. They've got to believe in themselves. I think with 2 minutes to play, we're going to probably start seeing Garnsworthy and Sitlani really kind of focus on who's going on the field, making sure those guys can make plays. I'm sure they'll have a few set things that they'll probably not rolled out yet. So we might see some of those things start to try and get themselves to that final, Sean.
Sensational,
yeah, the goal's good.
Sensational work from Paige Laycock again there. Just riding all of the challenges, just forcing his way to goal and finding the net from a really tight angle as well.
He's one of those players that really can go under the radar sometimes because he's so strong off ball that actually it's not necessarily what he does with the ball in his stick, but we've seen in this game the stuff that he's done with the ball in his stick. He's winning his team possessions, he's winning his team fouls, and he's also putting the ball back in the net. So here's one of the timeouts we spoke out about, Sean. 2 minutes to play. What are your thoughts on this one then?
I think, like you say, Swift have really now just got to look at, how can they affect this game, I think it's about getting the key men on the field, finding your people who've been hot so far. Somebody like Danny Hilditch, how can we get him into the best scoring position possible? So 2 minutes to play here.
Yeah, 2 minutes is 4 possessions here, Sean. So, there's one. They're going to go back down the other end and really kind of see what's going on. So Swift on the attack again. Again, those are the little margins.
Rogerson looking to work the ball. It's being pushed out again. 5
on the shot clock. They're conscious of that. They get the shot off.
Good feed to Whitehead on the crease, but Blower again just standing tall. You can't just get that easy shot away.
And that's getting an adaptation to these rules. The shot saved it resets the shot clock, and because it was a save, it's a turnover. So it's not a turnover. So they've got the ball back and they've made that count. This game is going to still go for a minute and a bit. Two goals in it.
Yeah, Hilditch again, just popping up with that pure individual quality, a little bit of magic. Parker finds the net. We're back to a 3-goal game with just over a minute left on the clock. Swift are going to have to push things hard here to see if they can eke something out from the game.
I just thought with Parker's shot angle there, he's lost his angle a little bit, but he found the way to get that past Hurry. And again, shot off the post, it's a turnover. I think the Swift really kind of trying to make their opportunities count, but do you know what? I think they might run out of time by now. Yeah,
45 on the clock. Forge in possession. I'm sure they'll see out this 30 seconds. Maybe just run the ball into the corner. It looks like Forge could be on their way to the final.
Yeah, they're doing exactly that. This is the game management now aspect coming into it. They're going to burn the full 8 to 10 seconds. Don't be surprised if they dump this ball in the backhand corner. Oh no, they're going to go for the goal.
Instead, they'll just dump it in the corner of the goal, Tom.
Absolute dagger.
And a great check there to finish things off. Great work. Forge are going to see this game out. They'll be the first team going through to the Fly Finals day. Reddy adds another one to the board. And we've got a late penalty against Swift coming up, but it's all immaterial now. Forge leading 21 goals to 16 against Forge with 5 seconds left on the clock. They'll see themselves in the final.
This is, the team that went undefeated in the last weekend. Everybody else has looked at what they've done, maybe reviewed things, changed things. I think, that shows the equalness within these teams and the level of competition that's out there. You can see that the Forge are really happy about that. They feel like, I think there's a little bit of vindication. They had a 1-goal game here last time, and they've really turned that around for themselves.
So Forge, 21-16 winners in our first men's semi-final. They've overturned the favourites coming in from that opening weekend. The team that came in with a 100% record. They've come through. They started off they were the number 14 coming in this weekend. They had that tag of being number 4, and like you said, I think they wanted to prove something this weekend. They came out, they put a great strong performance on this morning, and that's probably their best game of the tournament just when they wanted it.
Yeah, I think they felt like they underperformed last time. They felt like they didn't give themselves a fair representation. They had the guys on paper who could actually go and execute. I think the big thing for me in that game was actually the transition aspect. Stopping transition, creating transition, and the Forge did a really good job on both of those sides.
So there we have it. That is our first men's semi-final of the weekend. The next men's semi-final will be coming up at 4 o'clock between Team Rise, who beat Swift earlier this morning, and Team Hustle, who went down by just 1 goal in that game against Forge. They could have been in this game, but yeah, they lost by that 1 goal. So Mike, how do you see that one going later today? I think, you probably say on paper we've probably got a favourite, but, as we've just seen there, favourites don't mean anything in this game.
I'll be honest, right now, I can't really see much past Rise being in the final, but the way that the Forge have just performed there, I really think, that could be a fantastic opportunity for those guys to go and put themselves, into a great position into the final. Big thing I think that's going to come down to now is what these guys do tonight in their recovery, their preparation for tomorrow. But yeah, it's all to play for still, Sean. What a game that we've got here, 6-a-side Lacrosse.
Yeah, it's been a truly great weekend so far, and then we've had a really great matchup so far, and I think we're really excited for what we're going to see coming up. Like, I think the levels are only just raising and raising. I think you've seen that from Forge there. Whoever they go on to play in the final, they're gonna give them a real good contest, and it's going to be it's going to be a great thing to watch tomorrow for that final game. And I don't think they're going to fear either of those teams.
No, it's suiting up nicely, isn't it? I think these guys will be not getting ahead of themselves. They'll be making sure that they'll be focusing on the job in hand. I'm sure Swift will want to come out and give themselves a great account in their game tomorrow. But I think the big thing, we pointed it out early in the commentary, was actually, if you look at the scores from last weekend, Forge 13-12 winning overtime. They then lost 12-13. They then lost 12-19. They're putting up big numbers this weekend, and I think that's because guys are working themselves out in the competition. They're finding they're getting themselves into good positions on field to actually get, double-digit goals and more.
Yeah, so, and as I say, we've just talked about how well Forge are feeling. I think we're going to hear from Forge head coach Mike Bartlett down on the field.
So here with Mike Bartlett, head coach of the Forge. Talk us through that game, Mike.
Interesting, it was fun, wasn't it? It was end to end. It definitely showcased the athleticism and the kind of pace and frenetic nature of the format of the game. We played a really good team. They came into this weekend undefeated. We knew we had to make some changes. We had to work hard to manage the peaks and troughs of the game and keep ourselves mentally focused and not get too excited too soon. And I think we managed that.
And now, a couple of weekends ago, you were bottom of the table and Swift were top of the table. What's happened in the last couple of weeks? What have you been working on?
Well, we said from the start, we don't want to be champions of Saturday. We want to be champions of the following Sunday. It was always a discovery phase for us. We said those games, the results don't matter on that Saturday. We don't care if we come fourth, having lost every game, as long as we've learnt how we can potentially play this game to the best of our ability.
Now, you've run away with the scoreline at the end. We've had a lot of close games. In sixes, what is that marginal gain that you need to win games?
Good question. I think it is that it's managing the runs. We know that there's going to be times in the game where they're going to score 2, 3, 4 goals in a run and leave us a little bit in their wake, and we also know that if we can ride through that, we're going to have the same kind of run. And it's making sure that we keep the right mental state to understand that whatever's happening now doesn't determine what happens at the end. It's how we manage the peaks and troughs and through those.
And now everybody's getting used to the new rules. How are you finding them as a coach?
They're great. It's so interesting as a coach to have a new challenge like this where nobody's done it before. It's a great learning experience for us. It's tough. It's tough on the officials. It's tough on the players. It's tough on us as coaches. But it's a great learning experience. I think the shot clock just adds a whole new dimension to our game.
I mean, it is so quick. It's hard enough to watch and keep up with it. Now, you're looking at your bench, you're looking at your team, looking at tactics. How do you keep up with the game?
We try and compartmentalise it. So rather than looking at it as being 4 quarters, we look at it as being 4-minute periods. So we say, win the next 4 minutes. This is how we're going to play for the next 4 minutes. Let's not think about the big score at the end. If we win the 4-minute blocks consistently, we'll win the game at the end.
And in terms of lacrosse as a sport, what does sixes mean to it in its future?
It's a great opportunity for worldwide development. It removes a lot of the barriers for accessibility for new countries, for new programmes. It's exciting, it's marketable, it's a lot of fun for the players, and I'm sure if you're watching it at home, then they'll really enjoy it.
It is great to watch. Mark, congratulations. See you in the final tomorrow.
Appreciate it.